All right, what's up, everyone? This is a new episode of Sports Harder. And we have a lot of breaking news that literally just happened a couple minutes ago. We can't wait to talk about it. But first, we're going to introduce everyone. As always, I am your host, Maddie Lukewarm Ice. I got the awesome reindeer right here, rocking it out, ready, I wish I had a new sweater like every week. It could be like, the 12 sweaters of Christmas of Maddie Lukewarm Ice. But I don't have that many. But as always, my co-host for the evening is Chris, the Gorilla Binder. And, we liked Larry so much that we had to bring him back again for this week because, he wanted to brag about how well he did with his picks for last week. So we had to bring him back and let him shout out about that. But how's it going, Larry?
Let's go, guys. Thanks for having me back.
Yeah, I got to think of like a good nickname for you. Like,
I mean, we're showing off, so I guess I should show off your viewers, the dope Christmas shirts. That's what we're doing.
Since that's what we're doing. Yeah, Chris, you didn't get the memo, man. Like what's going on?
Wearing a dope shirt. It's NBA Jam with Donovan Mitchell and Mike Conley. Come on now. That's shit right there.
It's kicking it old school. That's what that is.
This is December, man. Come on. Like Christmas, everything. Like
I'm not bowling in a fucking Christmas sweater. It's just not happening.
I feel that though.
I be that way. Grinch, humbug.
Yeah, I am.
But we're excited for tonight's episode. Like I said, we got a lot of stuff to cover, and we're just going to jump right into it because it was breaking news a couple minutes ago that Urban Meyer is fired as the head coach from the Jacksonville Jaguars. This coming after reports earlier today of their kicker saying that Urban Meyer kicked him in the leg during practice. And so I think now that was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back, that finally ownership was like, all right, we're not winning and you're causing all this bad publicity. You got to go. So Urban Meyer out the door now. Likelihood of him going back to college. Let's hear it from Chris and Larry. The likelihood. What's the percentage here? He's going to be going back.
100.
You're going with 100. Oh, okay.
100% he goes back to college.
Oh yeah, I mean
he's just another Nick Saban, like amazing in college, couldn't do shit in the pros, went back to college.
I couldn't have said that better myself. I mean, when you look at Urban Meyer, his track record in college, I mean, what he did with Utah, then when who was he with Florida? Is that what it was?
Florida.
Yeah, went to Florida with Tim Tebow.
He had the Gators. I mean, he's had some, which we need, I know you guys do your pound key. Earl Time is still not signed, but how come we aren't doing a pound key 30 for 30 on that Florida Gator team? I mean, you got Tebow, Aaron Hernandez, Cam Newton. I mean, you got literally a preacher, a quarterback and team of drug dealers and gamblers and murderers and all this stuff. We need a 30 for 30 on that, but
then you got Tim Tebow that doesn't swear.
I was gonna say yes. He's like the holy child. So like did he cancel out everything that they did just because he was so like perfect? Like they would just go to him and be like, oh,
right. But didn't they? So I was reading that actually as we were getting on. I was watching some highlights from basketball. But yeah, Urban Meyer, the kicker, saying he kicked him in the leg.
Yeah, it was former kicker Josh Lambo.
Yeah, I mean, if you could learn to make a field goal, you probably wouldn't have got kicked in the leg. Let's be honest, dude.
Well, if the team would actually get him close enough to be able to kick a field goal.
Fair enough. But I mean, I feel like Urban Meyer has been nothing but bad publicity since he got there. I mean, I didn't hate Tebow coming in. I know the league responded differently than that. I mean, it wasn't like it was Tebow's choice. I mean, he had the option, obviously. But he brought, then the strip club stuff that all happened. And I mean, honestly, I'm surprised he made it this far.
Well, I mean, Saban, you guys compared it to that. I mean, I'm pretty sure Saban at least made it a year, didn't he?
Yeah, he made it a full year as the Browns head coach.
Which is horrible, man.
I thought he went to the Dolphins.
Was it the Dolphins?
Dolphins head coach?
Yeah, I think he was the Dolphins guy, but he didn't have a much better team in Miami though. It might as well have went to Cleveland.
But he ended up.
Oh, it was Bill Belichick that was Cleveland. Sorry.
Yeah.
He ended up picking Dante Culpepper or whatever, and then he was like a huge bust. They had like the number 1 pick, and they brought him in and it was just like terrible.
I thought Culpepper, didn't he go to he did go to Miami, then went to Minnesota and lit it up in Minnesota, then finished off in Detroit, right?
Yeah, he lit it up in Minnesota because he had Randy Moss and freaking
Chris Carter.
Chris Carter. Yeah, it's kind of easy when you have 2 Hall of Famer wide receivers that you're throwing to.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Just throw the ball up.
Yeah, exactly. They'll come
Moss
down
is
with
out
it.
there somewhere.
Yeah. He could probably close his eyes like this and throw it, and they would still somehow catch it.
It's like, I'm not saying I can play in the NFL, but I know I could throw a ball to those guys and hope to catch something.
Yeah, exactly. So Urban Meyer, the only thing he probably did right for the team was picking Trevor Lawrence. You know, I think if they get some people around him and he could be a good quarterback in the NFL. So that was about the only right thing he did while he was there. Like you said, he had the I don't think it was a strip club, but he went to a club, and then a college girl was like grinding on him for Urban Meyer. And, you know, he had that. And then, of course, you know, if you're losing, they kind of don't put up with that stuff. Like if he had a little bit of a better record, then they might have, you know, been a little bit lenient with it.
You're not James Harden.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And then, you know, then the kicker coming out and saying this, like I said, I think it was kind of just the last straw. So it'll be interesting to see if college teams still want him or if they're going to take time and wait before coming back. I mean, Urban Meyer was set in the NFL. Or not the NFL, sorry, in college, but he was the one that wanted to step down because of his health issues. And then after a year, he was just like, oh, well, I'll just go to the NFL. So it'll be interesting to see how much of a risk a college team is going to take or want to take by taking him and putting him on his team. Me and Chris were talking about it before we got you on, and Chris was saying maybe Notre Dame, you know, would pick him up.
I don't hate that. I mean, that he could probably turn that organization around.
Well, and they already have a winning culture, though. It's not like he's going in there and they're like awful. I mean, I'm pretty sure he finished like 5th or 6th in the ranks this year. So, I mean, you know, he'd be going into a good situation.
Which would be ideal after what happened in his stint in the NFL. I mean, going into a losing team in college, I think would kind of damper on a lot of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't know what Jacksonville was expecting. I don't know why they thought they would magically have a winning year or do well in his first year. I mean, if you go to a team like that, it's going to be rebuilding for a while. So I just don't know what the ownership was expecting when that happened.
They're expecting him to actually have good publicity. Like they were expecting good publicity. They had the number 1 pick, the heir apparent to Peyton Manning, Trevor Lawrence. You know, they had Travis Etienne, who was a beast and played with Trevor Lawrence. And then they had this rookie coach that comes out of college. You know, okay, we don't expect you to actually win a Super Bowl this year, but we expect you to build a team and actually have great publicity, you know, be the face of the franchise, show what Urban Meyer's all about. Well, he showed what Urban Meyer's all about.
And that was kind of sad. I mean, I'm a fan of Minshew Mania. I mean, the dudes, I mean, you see that mustache and come on, you know, it looks like Uncle Rico throwing the ball over the mountains over there. But he had so many opportunities. And it's not like Jacksonville has been getting blown out in a lot of games. They've had a lot of close games this year. They just haven't been able to pull it out. But that's one thing you do when you have a rookie quarterback who, you know, he could throw 4 picks in a game and you lose by 3 points. It's just an incredible stat line where, you know, you throw for 300 yards, a couple touchdowns, and then you throw 4 picks and you lose by 3 is a wild stat. But he didn't bring anybody really that could play with Trevor Lawrence. You know, you go get this quarterback, you know, you have a decent offense, but you mean that Leonard Fournette walks, you know, you don't have a decent backup. You don't have a great O-line. You don't have very many people to throw the ball to. Your defense is playing horrible. I mean, the last time Jacksonville looked good was, what was it, Fournette and the dude before Minshew that came in? I can't even think of his name.
Blake Bortles.
Blake Bortles. Yeah, I wanted to say Bowles, but that's the wrong guy. But they looked great that year.
Well, it's because they had Jalen Ramsey and like all these people on defense that they were stacked on defense. So
they just started trading people, and I don't understand what happened to Jacksonville. I don't know what the culture was, and then Urban Meyer didn't really help the culture at all down there. I mean, I get it's Florida, but don't embrace the Florida man.
At one point, their defense had Jalen Ramsey, AJ Boye, Yannick Ngakoue, and Calais Campbell. Like, that is a stacked ass defense.
Yes.
Like, you're getting after the quarterback, so the quarterback doesn't really have time to throw, and then you've got guys that are just covered.
Yep.
Boye, I don't think was that. I think he was great in Jacksonville. When he came to Denver, he didn't really do much. And since he's been out of Denver, he still hasn't done anything. But
well, there's reason for that. Denver tried to make him a CB1, and he's not a CB1. He's a CB2.
Which is wild. They wanted him to be the number one when he had Chris Harris, who, I mean, arguably was the number one cornerback in the league for most of the time he played with Denver.
Yeah.
And then you bring, he's gone to San Diego and he's a nickel corner, which is wild to me that he's a nickel corner. I mean, the dude had one of the best I think the year that they let him go, he gave up 2 touchdowns all year, and they both came to Antonio Brown in the same game.
Yeah, and that's a hard person to cover, at least when he was like in his prime. So
yeah, it was wild. I don't know what happened with Jacksonville, but Urban Meyer out of the league. I figured he would have maybe made it a year, but I'm not surprised he didn't.
So if we go back to the first episode of the NFL season, like when we announced, like, we're like, hey, Urban Meyer is going to be the coach for Jacksonville. I think you and I made bets on how long he would actually last.
Yeah, we did, and I said he would at least last a year. I figured at least.
And I said half the season.
Yeah,
I was like, he'll be out by week 8, week 9.
Yeah,
he made it to 15. So
hey, look at him go. But so sticking with NFL real quick, before we talk about NBA, because NBA, not really much going on except one major thing, and we'll cover that very quickly. But sticking with the NFL, DeAndre Hopkins out for the regular season with his knee injury. Hopeful, people who are listening and not looking on YouTube, I did that in quotation marks, hopeful that he'll be back for the playoffs. So I posted on our Sports Harder Facebook page to try to get some reactions, get some comments from people to see how they felt about the chances of the Cardinals either still winning the division or even getting the number 1 seed. Kind of talking about that, I mean, that kind of does involve with the Rams and their game against them on Monday night. The Rams getting a huge win without Jalen Ramsey, without Darrell Henderson, without Tyler Higbee or Darrell Henderson. So with the Rams, looking good in that game, and then now DeAndre Hopkins being out, the Rams are set on ESPN. They have a 1% chance of getting the number 1 seed in the NFC. The Packers now have the best chance, and the Bucks. So I guess for you guys, do you feel like it's Packers Bucks, or does Cardinals Rams still one of those 4 still have a chance? Like who, especially with the DeAndre Hopkins injury,
which sucks. He's on my fantasy team, so that was great news today. Yeah, I had him in 4 of my 5 leagues, so that was all great.
Yeah, there's no bueno. I had him in mine too, so I know how you feel.
Yeah, I just kind of sat there. I was like, really? Like, this is how you're gonna do me, dude? Like, you've been hurt half the season. Like, come on, man. It's wild with the NFC when you look at records. Like, how can Arizona not be the number 1 seed? I mean, they've only lost 3 games. The Packers, last week I talked about how good their defense was, and then they played on Sunday and there wasn't defense at all. I mean, it took them a minute to get going. Rodgers does Rodgers things. Tampa is starting. I think Tampa's actually starting to their offense is starting to get back to form and how they were playing last year. I think the NFC just got a whole lot tighter with the Rams pulling that off. Like you said, I mean, you're missing a lot of guys on that team. And it's not like, oh yeah, like if we could maybe win without this guy. You were missing starters, and huge starters on both sides of the ball. And just, I mean, was that corner, that rookie corner, whatever, something or that was playing that Murray was trying to attack all game. He got beat on a couple plays as expected. I mean, you look who he was guarding AJ Green, who was always been quietly good, and then trying to stick with Hopkins. I mean, he played a great game. I would have to say out of the 4 teams, I don't think the Rams will be able to finish. It kind of comes up to the next couple games here, but I think that it would probably be the Bucs in my opinion, because they're just starting to play. They're playing playoff ball right now. They understand, and it's Brady time. It's just what he does. He knows when it's time to win, and he knows if he doesn't play well, that if their team does not play the way they need to play, they're not going to go to the playoffs. And so he lit a fire under him. I don't know if he had Giselle come in and give a pep talk and buy him all stuff. I mean, I always make the joke because I don't know if you guys know, but Giselle is worth way more than Tom is. And so.
Well, that's why he stayed with the Patriots for so long, getting paid so little, because he didn't need to make the money with her. So.
Yeah, I mean, why would you? So, but I think the Bucs are going to take it personally. I think they have the best chance of taking number 1. I think the Cardinals might fall to number 2, number 3, but we'll see how it plays out.
You think the Packers wouldn't take it over them? Because right now it's Packers have the first round bye. They're number 1 right now. Then it's the Bucs. Then it's the Cardinals. So
yeah, because the Packers play the Ravens on Sunday, right?
Yeah.
I think it's the schedule. The Packers are playing the Ravens. I can't remember who the Bucs are playing. All of them have pretty tough teams. The Packers, I think, are probably guaranteed to win if Lamar Jackson doesn't play. And
they're playing the Saints.
I mean, that's an easy win. I mean, it's a division game. It is a division game. And Taysom Hill, I love the guy. I think Taysom Hill is awesome. He's one of my favorite players in the NFL, mainly because he's from here. He played here, and so I root for the Utah boys. But they're just shut up, Siri. No. So
don't want your opinion, Siri. I have my own opinion.
Yeah.
Damn it.
What are you doing? Get out of here. I think it's going to come down for the Packers. I think a lot of it's going to be settled this week on who's going to take over and kind of the pace of the rest of the year, because if Lamar doesn't play, I'm pretty sure the Packers defense is going to eat up Huntley. And that's going to be game over. The only thing the Bucs got to worry about is stopping Kamara and Mark Ingram. I mean, I know Taysom Hill is that threat where he can catch, he can run, he can pass, he can kind of do, I mean, any position on the field, really, but all 3 sides of the ball. So this week will be huge. The Rams, I think, are going to finish strong. I mean, especially winning how they won last week. And I think they'll come out, but I think this week will give you the better picture of who's going to take over.
Okay. I'm going to chime in. I'm going to disagree with you.
We don't do that on this show.
Very much so. You said that the Bucs were coming into their own. They're playing the Bills. They were up at halftime, 27-3. They had intercepted Josh Allen 3 times. And then they're just like, oh, well, we got this game in the bag, nonchalant. And in the last 6 minutes of the game, Josh Allen comes out and freaking scores 24 points.
Keep in mind, though, I said the Bucs offense.
Their offense, but their defense is what really helped them. But their defense is what helped them win the Super Bowl last year. They had an amazing defense.
Fair.
And their defense to just come out and like lay a fucking egg the way they did against the Bills. Like, the Bills have not been the Bills of last year at all.
No.
Josh Allen is inconsistent. He looks like Derek Carr. It's terrible. And for him to come out after throwing 3 picks to turn around and score 21 points in 6 minutes and take the game to overtime, and then the Bills defense kind of fell apart on a really long pass. But,
first target of the game, and he catches and scores. It was incredible.
Yeah, it was amazing. But that showed me that no matter how good Tom Brady is, that Bucs defense is their sore spot. They have an amazing defense on paper.
Yes.
But they're giving up a lot of points. I think they're like 20th in points given up this year. Like, that's not good. They were 5th last year.
Yes.
So, like, their defense is their Achilles heel. If their defense doesn't do anything, I don't see them beating the Packers this year. I don't see them beating the Rams this year. Matt Stafford is on an absolute tear. Like, Matt Stafford looks good. He looked good in the Lions, but he played for the fucking Lions. Like, let's be real. Now he's playing for
Calvin Johnson.
Yeah, that was all he had. And then Calvin Johnson retires because he didn't want to play for the Lions anymore and they wouldn't get rid of him.
Yeah.
They wouldn't let him out. But I think the Packers go number 1. I think the Bucks go number 2. I think Arizona is now
in take our division then.
The Rams.
You think so?
Now I think the Rams, that win gave them so much confidence because they got their asses handed to them last time they played the Cardinals.
Yes.
Like, that wasn't even a game. And this game, they showed up. They had 6 sacks total on Kyler Murray. Yeah, arguably the fastest quarterback in the freaking game.
Yeah, I mean, you did call it though. I'll give you that. I'll give you praise. You said Aaron Donald will get 3 sacks, and he did.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it took till the very last play to get the 3rd one, but
he still got it. He still got it. Like, so, and
I mean, he was after Kyler Murray. Like, that whole defense was after Kyler Murray, and like watching DeAndre Hopkins get shut down the way he did by like not Jalen Ramsey. That proved that Jalen Ramsey isn't necessarily needed in that defense. Like, he's the centerpiece. Him and Aaron Donald are the centerpieces for that defense. However, that defense can play without Jalen Ramsey. It won't be able to play without Aaron Donald, but it can play without Jalen Ramsey. They shut down DeAndre Hopkins. Like, watching him actually drop passes, that was weird because that dude does not drop passes like ever. I think he has like, I think it was the first drop of the season, and I think he has less than 10 in his entire career.
Yes.
Yeah, so seeing that, and then seeing that play where he was in the end zone, and there was 3 freaking Rams players right there, and it went through one of the guy's hands. It was actually in his hands, and the other Rams guy freaking knocked it out of his hand. I was like, come on, dudes, you broke up an interception. Like,
same team.
Yeah.
Real quick, I guess I don't know if it shows it on your guys's or not, but
yeah, I got 8 minutes left.
Yeah. Zoom, I guess now is saying that you have to upgrade and buy Pro to be able to do meetings like this. Which is weird because Zoom has always been free. So are they just trying to like get money now or something, or like? Do you guys know if you need it or?
Oh, I go to Ring Central, dude. Ring Central is free. Do as long a meetings as you need to.
And it lets you record it though, like this as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Use it on a daily basis.
Might have to do that then. It's just weird. I've never known Zoom to be like, hey, like we need to start charging you now. I mean, did you know about that, Chris?
Nope.
That's so weird. So I guess we still got 7 minutes left. So we'll just take a little bit more time and then we'll have to somehow splice this together or something on YouTube. But real quick, just to wrap it up with the Rams game, I wanted to point this out because I thought it was pretty cool. And I messaged Chris about this when I saw it the other day. So Cooper Kupp is like 450 yards or so away from breaking the all-time receptions yards for a season. He would beat Calvin Johnson's record.
Quarterback.
Yeah, which is crazy because it was set with Matthew Stafford. So I think that actually says a lot about Matthew Stafford, that he's able to lead 2 receivers to the all-time record if Cooper Kupp gets it, of course. But because I think they said he'd have to average like 118 yards a game going forward.
Even if he doesn't get it and he gets 2nd place, Matt Stafford still has thrown to 1st and 2nd place.
Exactly. Yeah.
Matt Stafford, I've always said it, even when he was with Detroit, is a very underrated quarterback. If you look at the the people who've thrown over 5,000 yards. Matt Stafford's on that list 3 separate times.
And he is
in 16 game seasons. Like he's on a list with Drew Brees. I think Peyton, or I think it's Drew Brees. I think Tom's on that list, or Dan Marino, one of the two. And Matt Stafford is like 3 of the top 5 names on that list. And granted, those 2 of those I believe came with Calvin. But what's wild is you actually get him into a team. Like for anybody to say the Rams are going to be a good team with Matthew Stafford, you've always been smoking crack, because that dude he's super underrated. I mean, look what he's done with nobody in Detroit to what he's doing when he's got a plethora of people to throw the ball to. I mean,
I think a better way to look at it is Jared Goff actually looked good with the Rams most of the time.
Yes.
Matt Stafford looked good with the Lions. They swapped places. Jared Goff looks like garbage with the Lions. Matt Stafford is doing the same thing he did in Detroit.
I mean, I didn't think Odell was going to be much of a factor because he hasn't done much all season, and he's on a 3-game touchdown streak, which has been awesome. And I didn't think Odell was going to come back. I mean, granted, he has been good since Eli, and now with the way he played last week, he was coming out of his routes. Odell looked like Odell of young Odell, Odell of old last, against the Cardinals, which you needed that. You as a Rams fan, you needed somebody to take that off of Cooper Kupp. And who are you gonna double team? And if you notice on one of the plays, they were down there in the red zone, Arizona's defense really tightened up and said, we're going to double Kupp and make you throw to somebody else. And that's where Van Jefferson, being as young as he is, really struggles in the red zone and getting open. I mean, you get him on a deep route, he's going to burn you. He's like a Marquise Brown. They go deep, you can't cover him. Tyreek Hill, so that's a big thing with Odell stepping up. Robert Woods going down, who was, a really big red zone target. And, but throughout the game, you can kind of see defenses just breaking down of like, who do we cover now? Do we go to Jefferson? Do we go to Kupp? Do we go to Odell? It's who are we going after? I mean, and Sony Michel had a game. It was amazing to see the Rams play the way that they should be playing all year. I personally believe the Rams should be the number 1 team in the NFL. I think they should be an undefeated team. They've had a couple games where it's like, how did you not win these? How did you lose? But the Jacksonville game, I think, gave them the confidence. It's a get right game. You played your Pee Wee team, you played a rookie coach, rookie quarterback, and then you come in and beat the number 1 team in the NFL. I'm not going to say I agree with Chris because he wanted to disagree with me, but he could be onto something. And I think this week is a huge week for those top 4 teams and how they can finish out. But with the Rams playing the way they played against Arizona, if they can do that for the rest of the season, I don't think anybody can stop the Rams. I just don't see it.
Yeah. And, like I said, we were able to play so well without some of our top guys, especially on defense. As soon as they said Jalen was out, I was like, damn, we're screwed. But the defense had like 4 turnovers. Like they freaking stepped up. And I think Aaron Donald kind of took it upon himself and was like, listen, I'm putting the team on my back like I used to. And he, like, most of those turnovers were because of him. Like the interception in the red zone was because he tipped the ball. He had his hand up, and then he had 3 sacks and, pressuring the quarterback with double teams. Like, I think he really stepped up big time. We hadn't really said his name much all year. But that game, he was like, I'm still here. Don't forget about me.
Well, in Arizona, I think kind of screwed up.
I just need to throw one thing out there. Matt Stafford, I'm saying this, Matthew Stafford is a leaps and bounds better quarterback than Baker Mayfield.
Who said otherwise?
Yeah.
I'm just saying it because people think Baker Mayfield's like this amazing quarterback, and
he's watch his commercials. He's phenomenal.
He forces the ball so much, and the reason that they won so much without Odell is because he wasn't forcing the ball to Odell. Mm-hmm. Matt Stafford doesn't have to force it to Odell. He's like, hey, I got Cooper Kupp over here. Oh, wait, Odell's open. Gone.
With the Baker thing, Baker, when he came into the league, his rookie year was one of the most aggressive quarterbacks, if not the most aggressive quarterback in the red zone, his first year in. Then the second year, you can kind of see him, not taking as much risks. He wasn't as aggressive. And I think now they're trying to push him like, dude, you got to be more aggressive. So he starts forcing the ball. That's why he's got a lot of turnovers this year. That's why he's not playing as well, because I think they're trying to force him. Like you need to be more aggressive, and that's not necessarily an approach you need to take with players. I get the aggression, let's go for it on fourth down, let's QB sneaky here, but I don't think Baker has the mentality to be pushed like that. Of you need to do this. He's kind of a young kid, so it's like, I'm not doing what you tell me to do. This is my team. I'm going to do what I want, and then you can kind of see what's been happening in Cleveland. Last year, Cleveland looked like one of the best teams in the NFL, and this year they're pretty much back to where they were before. They win a couple games, they lose 6.
Well, we got a minute left, so we'll kind of take like a break and stop it here. And we'll stop it on the audio as well. And then when we get everything like reset up, then we can get the audio going again for everything. So all those who are watching and listening, just give us a second and we'll be back in a flash.